Hello everyone, welcome to Calling Glass, welcome to the pod, welcome to the club. My name is Alvaro and today I'm in Riga to talk about the EuroBasket. That's it. Hello everyone, welcome back and welcome for the first time. Today, as you can see, I'm in Riga in the showdown arena where today you will play the second quarterfinals, and also yesterday was placed the first quarterfinals, and I want to talk about that. And yeah, so today's Calling Glass outdoor edition, which is not common. And first, I want to start talking about the quarterfinals that we will play today, here behind me, in a little while. Hopefully late, I have time to post this before the game starts, but yes, and I will be excited to watching it. And the first game that I want to talk about is Germany against Slovenia. And I'm going to give predictions based on percentage of how likely I think it is that team wins. And my prediction is going to be tough. I think it's 90% sure that Germany beats Slovenia. Why do I say this? Well, I'm going to start talking about Slovenia and about how they got here. And they got here playing against Italy. And they got here because Italy played a horrendous game in the round 16. Horrible game by Italy, really. So I'm going to talk a bit about the game. So the game started with Luka on fire. Luka playing very, very comfortable against Fontecchio. Fontecchio was his main assignment was Luka. And Luka was playing one-on-one against him or playing the pick and roll. Italy was switching and he was attacking the big guy from Italy. And Luka was so comfortable and he scored 30 points in the first half. They were already up by, I think, almost 20 by halftime. Italy did some adjustments, but already very late. It was almost the fourth quarter when they assigned Niang, the new rookie of the NBA, to Luka Doncic. And he did a tremendous job. He was playing great defense. Niang is super athletic, super long, super agile, not strong, but very quick, and with a stupidly high motor. This guy reminds me of Siakam, but like his defensive version. It was impressive. And he did great. Luka scored 30 points in the first half, and he scored while Niang was playing because he got 5 fouls, so he had to be subbed out. But during the time he was playing, he scored only 9 points against Niang. So Niang did a great job against Luka. I think this guy is a guy to watch at least defensively. Let's see how he develops offensively. And also Italy did another change, which is like they stopped switching in the pick and roll against Luka. They will start double him in the pick and roll until the guy arrives and then rotate. So Niang always stayed in front of Luka, even though they left some wide open shots for Slovenia, which they didn't convert because they didn't have good players apart from Luka. That's the truth. So yeah, from the defensive side, really late. This was like in the fourth quarter, and they almost come back, but it was already in the fourth quarter, very late adjustments. And in offense, also horrible game by Italy. Like literally no one, Fontecchio was making some shots, but the offense was struggling a lot, not creating much. And again, they did an adjustment that worked, but also too late. They put Gallinari and they gave him the ball in offense. He was creating a lot because Slovenia doesn't have good defenders. They could not guard Gallinari. And he was creating and scoring many out of shots. And that was also key for Italy to come back and almost win, but they didn't. They make the adjustment also late third quarter. And this worked, of course, because they should have done this earlier. I don't know why they didn't do it earlier. They were scared of Gallinari in defense, but the moment that you say, we're not going to switch and we're going to double Luka, Gallinari is fine because he can wait for Niang to arrive and then come back to his defender. The problem is if you're switching, but if you're not switching, so yeah, the whole strategy should have changed earlier, let's say. But yeah, so based on that, I think Slovenia being in the quarterfinals is more a fail by Italy than it is a success by Slovenia, I have to say. And I think Germany has probably, hopefully, I don't care. I'm more in Nowitzki, but I honestly don't care. But I hope they will have learned about this and they will probably start not switching against Luka. And I also think they have good defenders for Luka. Isaac Bonga, probably the main assignment. If not, I think Tristan da Silva can do a good job. So yeah, let's see. And I also think in offense, Germany has so much power that for Slovenia, it's going to be impossible to contain. I think Franz Wagner and Schroeder are going to be very, very, very comfortable against Slovenian defense, which they don't have good defenders. That's why I will not be surprised if Germany wins by 20 points or more. That's my prediction. I'm not saying they will win by 20 points, but I'm pretty sure that they will win, 90% sure. Now they will lose, but no, really. I think Slovenia has arrived way too far for the team that they have. Next quarterfinals we have here, Georgia against Finland. The upset boys face each other for a place in the semifinals, which is impressive because that means that one of the two teams will arrive to the semifinals, which is a great accomplishment for either country. And here, probably the favorite to win is Finland, but I'm actually going to give the edge to Georgia. And I will say why. I will give them the 60% to 40% advantage to Georgia. And first I want to talk about Georgia, and I want to say that to me, that the fact that they beat France is not an upset. It's a bit surprising. Maybe the odds were against them, but it's not like Finland against Serbia. That was huge upset. For me, Georgia against France was not such a big upset because I have seen France in the group phase and they were not playing good basketball. They were playing great defense, that's true, and they were very athletic. But their offense was bad, and they were not playing great basketball. They lacked out of leaders and leadership in the court. And Georgia, to be fair, when they had on the court together Goga, Tornike Shengelia, and Mamukelashvili, they were better than France. Clear and simple. They were better than France when these three were on the court. They were worse than France. They suffered when one of them was on the bench. But when the three of them were together in the court, they were better. Now, if I look at the matchup, Finland versus Georgia, I looked and I thought about the matchups one-to-one. I think Georgia has good players to guard Markkanen. I think either of the three big guys, I think Mamukelashvili is a great can guard Markkanen. He's also pretty tall, pretty strong. I think it's a good matchup for him defensively. I think also Shengelia can do a good job on Markkanen. I also think Goga can do a good job with Markkanen. So I think they have three guys that can play good defense with Markkanen. And I think Finland doesn't have two guys to guard either Tornike Shengelia or Mamukelashvili. So that's why I give the edge a bit to Georgia. I think this is not a good matchup for Finland. It is true that the problem for Georgia comes in the guard positions. They are very weak. And once they start rotating players, they start to be very weak. But at the same time, I don't think that Finland has a lot of strength in the guard position. Maybe Milo Little has a great game. That could be the key for Finland. If he has a great game against the guards of Georgia, they could win it. But I don't think it's a great game for Markkanen. That's how I see it. I also don't think Markkanen has, it might be tight in the end, but I don't think Markkanen has this kind of like killer instinct to take the game over in the last quarter when the game is on the line. Overall, I think this is a bad matchup for Finland. I think it's a good matchup for Georgia, and I think they will take it. Now I will move on to the semi-final that we already know, Greece against Turkey, but I'm going to start talking about the quarterfinals that they played each team that I watched yesterday here. Turkey against Poland. So the key here happened in the second quarter. Turkey made an adjustment defensively, and that changed everything in the game. They started the game playing the pick and roll defense, Turkey, switching. And Poland likes that because Poland likes to look for the mismatch in between Ponitka and Joyt against the other defenders. So they play the pick and roll. Turkey's players switch. Ponitka and Joyt stay with the big guy and they play one-on-one, and they have the three-pointer, step back three-pointer, or they can penetrate and pass to the man. So I think that worked for Poland. Now in the second quarter, Turkey stopped switching. They said, we're going to double, and then we're going to force them to pass the ball to the other teammates and the others to create and the others to score. And it didn't work. Polish players, I think they played great tactically, but they were not good enough playing a bit improvisation. I also don't know why. When you get double in a pick and roll, the big guy cuts to the rim, but they didn't have a pass I don't know how to say it in English, like a clear pass. They should triangulate, right? A guy should appear in the middle. So the guy with the ball, Joe Bonica, pass to the middle, and the middle has already the open court for him to decide. And they didn't have that. They didn't do that all game. I don't know why they didn't do it. They were not adjusting well to this defense from Turkey. And then in offense, Turkey also, they were doing the opposite. They were actually being defended double in the pick and roll, and they were creating a great offense, always finding the open man. Usually it was pick and roll in between Sengun and Larkin. Larkin gets double. Larkin passes to Sengun. Sengun sees it in the middle area with out of space to operate, and that's where Sengun feels super comfortable. Then he will attack one, well, with space, and then either pass it or finish himself. And that's why he finished with 19 points, 10 assists, and 12 rebounds, because he received in very clear positions for him. So yeah, that was the whole game. That's it. Poland never adjusted. They adjusted a bit late in defense. They started to not double in the pick and roll, but it was late already, and they started to pass behind the pick or even switch with Larkin because they didn't want to leave Larkin open to shoot. But yeah, very late and not also a great option because Larkin was killing them. I think the key, even though Sengun had the best numbers, I think the key was Larkin and how Poland could not play defense on Larkin. Larkin, they could neither play one-on-one to him. He was too quick for them. And then when they played pick and roll, they could not switch because he will move past side. They could not pass behind because he would shoot a three. And if they double, he was passing great to the guy in the middle, and they were creating the offense. So for me, Larkin was the key for Turkey in this game. Now we move on to the second quarterfinals that I watched here behind me yesterday night was Lithuania against Greece. And I have to say, even though we're in Latvia, not in Lithuania, it felt like Lithuania was playing local. The crowd was full green. Everyone was cheering. And there was only a small section of Greeks. It was incredible. It felt like the whole country of Lithuania was here. They were saying Lietuva all the time. 50 minutes before the game, they were really chanting very strongly, Lietuva. It was amazing ambience. But at the end, Greece won. And why they won? Well, I want to tell you why, because it was a good strategy matchup. They were playing both to the other opponent weaknesses. And what do I mean by that? Well, Greece, what they do in offense is that they have Giannis as their almost their center, their main guy to play in the paint, and then they have 4-man open. So they give space for Giannis to attack the rim and kick it out to the open guy. So they play with a 4 or with a center, which is not Giannis is the 4, but they play with center. That is not a center, that is a 4, Mitoglu, who can shoot, but it's not that great defensive. It's not that big. Now, what did Lithuania did? Lithuania did the opposite. They play with 2 big guys. They play with Valanciunas, and they fed him the ball in the post a lot because he was being guarded by Mitoglu. Valanciunas was like one head taller than Mitoglu. He started scoring a lot and drawing out of fouls. He was very comfortable against Mitoglu. But on the other side, Giannis also felt comfortable and he was kicking out for open threes. So it was a battle of weaknesses, but at the end, Greece was too much and Giannis was too much. Giannis is impressive. This guy in transition he's unstoppable. I mean, everyone knows that. And his players, the Greek players, know that. They have learned that they have ingrained that in their minds because every time they got a rebound, they didn't look at who's open. No, they just look, where is Giannis? And I want to give the ball to Giannis. It doesn't matter if this guy half court, semi-open, no. I'm going to look for Giannis, I'm going to shoot the ball. Even if he's behind me, it doesn't matter. Because I know that he's faster and he's going to arrive to the rim in 2 dribbles and he's going to either draw a foul or get a bucket. So that's what they were doing. That's what they were doing. And then, this is what killed Lithuania, is that playing 5-on-5, Giannis made the open shots that he had. He was making all the mid-ranges. And if Giannis makes shots, there is really nothing that you can do. You have lost the game because really in transition, he's unstoppable. And then when you play 5-on-5, they were letting him shoot. They were leaving him space so he could not attack the paint. And Giannis was converting almost all the shots that he took. He shot 9 of 15 from the field goal. That's 60%. It's very difficult to win with Giannis scoring like that. And he also shot 11 of 16 from the free throw as well. Pretty good for him. So yeah, that was the whole game. 28 points for Giannis. Very difficult for Lithuania to compete against that. And also Toliopoulos from the bench for the Greeks, who was great, 17 points. And then on the other side, like I said, Valanciunas, yes, pretty good, 24 points, 15 rebounds, making himself big in the paint against the not so big Greek players. But that's it. Nobody else appeared. Lithuania needed some spark. Lithuania needed some offensive talent, some inspiration by other players, and they didn't have it. Belitska was okay, 13 points, but they really needed someone to create something out of the ordinary for them to be able to compete or win the game. And it didn't happen. It was only Valanciunas, and that was not enough. So Greece took the victory. Now, that leaves us with a great semifinals between Greece and Turkey. The Adriatic Derby, we could call it, right? Turkey, which to me was a dark horse to win the whole tournament after Germany and Serbia. I think for a lot of people, they are the third candidate. Now they are the second candidate after Germany. I think a lot of people think that the final will be Turkey against Germany. But I'm actually going to give the edge. I'm going to bet against 60-40 that Greece will win the semifinal. And here's why. To me, it's interesting that both teams play the same style in offense. They have 4-man out offense with a guy that creates in the paint, which is Sengun and Giannis. Neither of them can really shoot. So it's the same style. They have a 4, like the power forward is a guy who opens the court, and it's not that big. And they both play the same style. But I think for Greece, it will be easier. For Greece, it will be easier to stop Sengun than for Turkey. It's going to be to stop Giannis. I think Giannis is obviously a better player than Sengun. I think it's more unguardable than Sengun. So I think that's going to be the main difference. On the key elements here, I think really Turkey doesn't have guys to guard Giannis, only one guy, but he's not starting. And it's Adem Bona. I think Adem Bona might be a good defender for Giannis. I think it's going to be very interesting how efficient he is. If he can stop a bit Giannis, maybe Turkey can win. But at the same time, having Adem Bona in the court means that you have 2 non-shooters in the court. That means that there is less space for Sengun. That means that you are going to have Giannis in the paint guarding Bona. So that's not a good idea for Turkey. Or maybe it is to play defense against Giannis. But I think that's where the struggle might come from Turkey. If Adem Bona can play defense more or less well on Giannis, then Turkey might win it. But I think that's the key element. And also, like I mentioned in the beginning, I think it's going to be also a shooting game or a shooting matchup in between Mitoglu and Osmani. They're both power forwards from each team, but they receive a lot of open shots and they need to make it. And I have to say that Osmani has been playing great, shooting great. Mitoglu was playing great, but not the last game. So let's see who takes the shooters game. That's it. But overall, I still think Greece will take it because of the ability for them to defend Sengun. It's a bit easier than for Turkey to defend Giannis. I think that's the game. So yeah, 60-40 for Greece, which might be surprising. And I think that's all. Later today, we'll be seeing the games, the Germany, Slovenia, and which is the other one? Germany, Slovenia, and Georgia, Finland. I will be seeing it behind me. I couldn't remember. And that's all for today. That's for the podcast, for the Calling Glass Outside Edition. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like it. Follow, leave a like, everything, tutto. And I hope you're having a great EuroBasket time. And that's all for today. That's all. See you. Bye-bye.